tonight. I mean, that's just how fired up he had us, and everybody loved him. He later became the West Coast regional captain. He was Imam Ali Rashid's successor in that sense, and he's just a dynamic brother. He's been at the forefront of the cause ever since, and he's loved and respected throughout the community. And without further ado, I'd like to bring fourth brother, Naim Shah. I do want to make this one statement too, okay? Please do not pass in front of the camera, okay? Because Sister Hassan is filming Brother Naim Shah, and we don't want any clients to cross the path of the camera. Okay, let's bring him on. Nice round.
That widens. Brothers and sisters, let me first say that it is always an honor as well as a privilege to be in front of my brothers and my sisters. This is my second round, and you look beautiful as you did before. Brothers look strong, sisters look gorgeous, so I know we're going to have some fun. Now, I'm not going to get wired up, we're not going to talk all night, but there are some things that we would like to deal with. This is Black History Month, and we want to be able to look at that from a positive standpoint. In fact, Black history is being taken care of right here, right now. The books are being written, and I can see the ink right on the page. I'd like to thank the staff here at House of Uhuru for creating the kind of environment that is important to be able to address those problems with a degree of respect and dignity. This is important, because all of us at some point or another fall victim to a circumstance that we have no control over. And this is a blessing to have a place like this and a staff like this that shows the kind of professionalism and the leadership when we need it. Now, I gotta say this real quick, because Rashad ain't gonna like it, he ain't gonna want me to say it, but this brother has always been a credit to this community. As he said, we go way back, but he's been here at this agency almost 20 years. And he's always provided the kind of leadership and role model that we can respect and look up to. People out at elementary school. So it wasn't me, it was him. I was spotted in. In fact, I got jammed up and I had a roll and some cheese, and I used to try to boost off the stuff. And they were ready to take my food. And Rashad said, no, that's my old boy. He came my age. And he's been standing up ever since. So he's really a good brother. He's always fought for the underdog, including myself, and I love and respect him, and I'm sure you do the same. Now, what I've chosen for a topic tonight, brothers and sisters, is the power of positive thinking. Now, I want you to relax. I want you to listen very carefully to what I'm saying, and keep an open mind, because I want to share something with you. I've been involved in lectures for a long time. I generally go up to the institutions, male and female, and try to encourage and motivate brothers and sisters to prepare themselves for the role that they must take in this community. Now, the power of positive thinking is very important. We ask ourselves, what is positive thinking? We can say that a positive mind takes a look at a half a glass of water. The positive mind says that that glass is half full. The positive mind encourages vision and perception. Now, what is vision and what is perception? When I say perception, it depends on how you see things. Perception is your point of view. Let me give you an example. Some people would be standing up here and they would look out at you and they would see black men, black women, human beings sitting out in the audience. Other people who would be standing up in front of you would see leaders, would see role models, would see future organizers. It's just a matter of perception. It depends on how you view things. Let me give you a beautiful story and the benefits of vision. Now, I'm sure most of you at one time or another have heard the story of Joseph. Joseph was a man who lived in the times of Pharaoh. Joseph, for whatever reason, found himself inside of the dungeon in Egypt. Joseph had a reputation of being a dreamer and an interpreter of dreams. Well, at this particular time, Pharaoh was being plagued by nightmares. He was constantly having dreams of fat cows and skinny cows. He didn't know what was happening, but it was scaring him to death. So Pharaoh's magicians and scribes was trying to help Pharaoh solve this problem. So they found out that Joseph was an interpreter of dreams. So Joseph was summoned. He had to come up and give an explanation of what Pharaoh was dreaming. Now, this is where perception and vision saved Joseph's life. Not only did it save his life, it was profitable. So Pharaoh explained those dreams to Joseph. And Joseph said, what you're dreaming about, Pharaoh, is you're dreaming about 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. And Pharaoh believed Joseph, and he accepted his interpretation wholeheartedly. And because he was so in tune with that interpretation, he made Joseph the one in charge over the whole program. Now, nowhere in history is it recorded whether or not Joseph's dreams or Joseph's interpretation was actual fact. That's not the point. The fact was the boy was smart enough to see a situation that he could take advantage of and make it pay. You see what I'm saying? His perception was so accurate that he said, hey man, look, this is what's happening in your life, and I can make things better if you put me in charge. Pharaoh was so comfortable with this brother's interpretation that he allowed Joseph to go back to the dungeon and pull out 5 or 6 of his homeboys and put them in charge. So this man's interpretation and his vision saved his life, his homeboy's life, and it got him paid. So a positive mind influences a positive perception. Are you with me? Okay. Another thing that's extremely important is that the positive mind encourages strength. Brothers and sisters, we must be strong if we intend to make changes in our society. We must be strong if we intend to make changes in our own individual lives. There's no way possible that we can allow ourselves to remain in this condition unless we do something together to stand up and make a change. Can you imagine those black men and black women who were slaves over 300 years ago, who refused to die, who said that I will produce a nation of people who will make changes, who lived on from then to right now? Can you imagine if they were able to come back today and see what the condition of their seed is in? To see us being dope fiends, alcoholics, killing each other, robbing from each other? Can you imagine how they would think if that kind of condition was to be seen in their eyes today? No. What we have to do, brothers and sisters, is have enough strength to overcome not only our problems, but to lead our community into a better situation. A positive mind is imperative if we intend to stand up and make a fight. Look at those pioneers. Now walk with me for a minute. Look at those pioneers who came to America from Europe. Today it takes them maybe 2 hours to go to Utah. Then it was 2 weeks walking. You with me? There was nothing but hard times and obstacles in their path. But because there was a positive mind, and because they had the strength, they overcame all obstacles. If it was cold outside, they came inside and learned how to master the cold and went back outside and took charge. If it was hot outside, they came inside, learned how to master the heat, and went back outside and mastered it.
They did not allow nothing to stop them from reaching their goals. In fact, there's a little portion in history called the Bering Straits. You don't read too much about it because it's cannibalism. Those Caucasians were so determined to get to the New World that when they got into an area where things were so tough, they started eating each other. And say, look, man, only the strong survive. The weak is a meal for the people that got to eat. You see what I'm saying? They understood that they had to make it regardless. Well, the positive mind helps us to understand that there is no room for obstacles. The positive mind gives us the strength to meet those obstacles head on and overcome. The other thing, my brothers and sisters, that the positive mind produces is leadership. Not necessarily leaders, but leadership. What's the difference? One has to be out front, the other can be anywhere and still make things happen. Let me give you an example. You look at the Japanese. It's some bad human beings, man. Less than 50 years ago, they were almost totally wiped out. During the First or Second World War, they were rounded up, put in concentration camps here in America. They had an H-bomb, 200 megatons dropped on them in Nagasaki and Hiroshima, but they survived. They survived. Because why? They developed leadership. They refused to take a low profile and be destroyed. The Japanese people have leadership starting from the home front all the way to the company. Everybody works together for one common goal. That leadership has become so strong in the world that the Japanese now are number 2 on the world market. They almost bought up all of America. They're trying to buy Europe. There was a time when the dollar and the English pound were the number 2 trading currencies on the world market. But today, it's the dollar and the yen. The yen is up there. Why? Because these people have taken leadership economically, they've taken leadership socially, and they're making it pay. Wall Street announced that there was a major merger in the Japanese community. 2 of the richest banks that they had in Japan came together. Why? So they can break the backs of the American bank. Every year, man, these people celebrate Hiroshima. People who still have facial scars and burns come out and lay on the ground at the same exact hour. They ain't forgotten. But their objective is not to throw stones, but to build a nation that will not decay. They want revenge for real and forever. But the object is leadership. They refuse, man, to take a back seat. And this is why it's so important that we, brothers and sisters, develop a positive mind. Look, I am not a passenger on my own ship. I am the captain of this one. You with me? I am not a passenger, man. I run this one. I'm in charge of me. I'm Joe, the boss of myself. Yeah, that's right. And that's what you gotta feel like. See, it's important for us to take charge of ourselves, brothers and sisters. It's mandatory that we recognize who we are and what we are. There are thousands, man, and hundreds and thousands of young brothers and sisters in this community who need your leadership. Why your leadership? Because you have been in a situation that has taught you the best way to deal with a problem. You've been on both sides of the fence. You understand what to do and what not to do. Am I right? Yeah. So that means that enables you to teach it. You need to be in the schools. You need to be in the community organizations. You need to be in the churches. You need to be on the board of education. You need to be inside of the city council, telling them what's really happening. Not that bullshit, for lack of a better word. But I'm serious. You need to be out there taking care of business. Because you know what the problem is. And you can help solve it. Look at this little beautiful baby, man. This is our future. This is our future. These babies are our future. Everybody's saying, save the children. Well, we got to first save ourselves. And I'm serious about that. The positive mind, brothers and sisters, is so important. Because the positive mind is the springboard for our moral and mental strength. It gives us the wherewithal and the stick-to-itiveness to fight. Not fight each other, but fight internally. Fight myself. Fight those weaknesses that would make me want to get up and talk about another brother or a sister because of the way they look, or the way their hair is shaped, or the way their head is shaped, or some foolishness. Instead of talking about the conditions that we are in, we're talking about each other. No, we want to have the strength to fight them, because that's a serious battle and it's a serious setback to our growth and development. You ask yourself, what's the opposite of the positive mind? The negative mind. Am I right? What is the negative mind, Brother Shah? The negative mind sees a half a glass of water and it's half empty. Oh man, shit, I don't feel like dealing with this today. I've been trying to get this thing together all my life and I ain't made no changes, ain't nothing happening, I ain't gonna never be nothing, I'm gonna always be losing. Negative mind. You defeat yourself even before you start. Am I right? Yeah. The negative mind does not produce strength, it produces weakness. It produces the kind of immorality that makes you become a traitor in the heat of battle. Instead of trying to stand up and fight your enemy, you run behind and hide and cry and tell on those who would be free. No, man. We want to be able to stand up for what's right. The negative mind must be stamped out. We cannot allow the negative mind to grow. The negative mind produces cowardice. Cowardice. Not that you are a coward, but it produces cowardice. Meaning that you always try and find the easy way out. You don't take no chance on nothing. Everything you do is just to try to get by. No, we got to stand up and face those obstacles that would stand in our way and keep us from being successful. We got to stop whining and crying and begging everybody to help us do that which we should be doing for ourselves. That's a slave mentality. See, the coward came out of the slave mentality. When we were freed from slavery, we weren't freed. In other words, like John Shabazz once said, if you want to get a dog more control, give him more chain. That's all he got. You put him out in the yard, let him run around, and because he's locked up in a fence, he feels limited. So what you do is extend the fence and put a longer chain on his neck so he can go further now, but now he feels like he got freedom. He just got more chain. No, we don't need more chain. We need freedom. We need leadership. When we have that negative mind and that cowardice, we don't want to do nothing, brother, but lay up around all day and just talk about what we used to do or what we're going to do or what we should have done last week. And none of that stuff is real. We call it bellicose. Bellicose is just stuff suspended in the air, bumping into each other. It ain't even real. Right? Right. Lock whack. So my point is this. As a people and as a community and as individuals, we must be able to and begin to look into those things, brothers and sisters, that are impeding our progress, that's stopping us from being successful. We must address the negative mind. And the way we address the negative mind is to look at the positive mind. To look at those strengths that we have individually. To find something good to say about one another. Man, ain't no ugly black folk. Ain't no ugly human being. Everybody's beautiful. Because we are what God made us. You ain't fat, you ain't skinny, you ain't tall, you ain't short, you beautiful. You're beautiful. You see where I'm coming from? You are the kind of people that God made. The only reason that we have stigmas on each other is because of a warped society that we come out of. A society that delights in making fun of one another. That's stupid. We have to be able, man, to unite our strengths and overcome our weaknesses for the greater good. We got a bigger job to handle. As I mentioned, we got the babies to look out for. The most important thing, brothers and sisters, that the negative mind produces is fear. And fear is a terrible emotion. And I say that for this reason. Fear can cause you not to make a move when you should make a move. I'm not talking about instinct. I'm talking about fear. See, instinct is when you see a car come, you get out the way. That ain't fear, that's instinct. You don't want to die. Right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about fear. I'm talking about cold, calculated, coward fear. Because you don't want to stand up and take your responsibility and be a man and be a woman. You want somebody else to always take care of you, always change your diaper, always feed you, always give you somewhere to stay. But that stuff is dead, brother. We got to stand up. See, I don't care where you work. I don't care where you live, as long as it's clean, as long as you're making an honest living. There is no dishonor in honest labor. If you're washing cars, you're making your money by the sweat of your own brow. Hell, when you get through washing cars, go put on your Dominic Brucey or your situation and have a party. Huh? That's right. It ain't about that. In fact, you ain't working for them, you're working for the money. Right? So once you get paid, you do what you want to do. But the thing, brothers and sisters, is that we got to overcome fear. I'm going to show you fear is such a high emotion in animals that when you become afraid, your body secretes. It secretes a liquid that dogs can smell. So when you get scared, the first thing you walk, you start, say that nigga scared out. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I know, brothers and sisters. Your body secretes. If you ever catch yourself, for whatever reason, becoming fearful, fill up on your own quick. Soaking wet. Because the body secretes. So then I'm saying that we have to learn how to combat that kind of emotion. Because it's just an emotion. It's an emotion that was put into us when we were babies. I mean, not us individually as babies, but our foreparents hundreds of years ago when they were babies, during the slave trade. That fear developed in us. But that fear has become a lock and chain on our progress. We can't make progress because we're afraid. We're afraid to work together. We're afraid to trust each other. We're afraid to have any confidence in each other. Man, everybody's taking care of business but brother, man, and sister love. What's up with that? That ain't cool. That ain't it, man. And the only reason that's happening is because we have so many individual problems that we are not addressing. The only thing I'm trying to say, my beloved brothers and sisters, is let's get busy on the right thing. Let's stop all that foolishness and let's get busy on the right thing. Let's go inside, man, and let's look at those things that are causing us to be disunited. I mean, right here in the house. Right here in the house. See, this is where you start. We don't wait, man, somewhere else to start. We start now. Let me tell you something, man. I was up in Chino, right? And I'm talking to some brothers, I'm talking to the brothers and we communicate. And I said, look, brother, now come clean with yourself. Half of y'all ain't been arrested. Hell, you've been rescued. Right. You know you was living crazy out there sleeping in a box. You wasn't doing nothing. So this is an opportunity to really get yourself together. So it is here in the house. Right here, brothers and sisters. We can get ourselves together. You got the time, you got the staff that will work with you, provide the technical experience, the technical help that you need to get whatever it is that you want to do, get it together so we can make some changes. See, this is just a stopover. This ain't, man, in the annuals of time, this is just a fleeting moment. When you look back on this, brother, you'll say, now I remember that holiday. Then again, you better remember it a whole lot. And you don't want to forget this experience, because this is a good experience, because you learned something in this experience. But my point is that you want to take this experience, take this time, and utilize it to your advantage. Let's work together. Let us be positive. Let's see if we can find at least 5 things, brothers and sisters, that we can say good about each other in this room tomorrow morning. when you have your group meetings, after you get through doing whatever it is you're supposed to do, let's see if we can find at least 5 things, because I know everybody know each other, 5 things that we can find good to say about each other. And then let's come up here and let's talk to one another. See, you got to also use this opportunity as OJT, on the job training. You want to be able to get up here, brothers and sisters, and blow at each other. Just blow. I mean, talk to one another about the real deal. I mean, from a podium standpoint, and you talking about a problem and a solution. And you can do it. See, because you're going to have to do it in the community. Your leadership is so desperately needed, brothers and sisters. The only reason we got a serious gang problem is because we ain't got no leadership. We ain't got no role models, male and female. That's why we got a serious problem. Ain't no daddies on deck, ain't no mamas in the kitchen. Everybody just doing their own thing, everybody's gone. But in here, you can develop the kind of leadership that it takes to get our communities back in order. It takes strength. It takes courage. You know what I did Nicholson's boy talk right to brother man. You know how he can get sometimes. You know that it take a lot of strength, brother. Go down there, man, in the pepper rooms talk to brother man. I mean, right there on the block, talk to sister love. It takes strength. But when you come with a sincere heartbeat, they can feel it. Brothers and sisters can tell when you coming across for the real, and you're not just jaw-jacking, but you're real, and you're really concerned about them. They can feel it. And they may rough up and swell up a little bit, but you pull them to the side and say, look, man, let's stop this madness, brother. Sister, let's be about something more positive. So I'm saying, my brothers and sisters, let us take this opportunity to strengthen your leadership. And let's get rid of the negative mind. And my conclusion, because I've always been taught that the best speech is a short speech. Yeah. In my conclusion, let me say this, brothers and sisters. Again, it is indeed an honor and a privilege. I want to say happy Valentine's to my beautiful sisters. Look at them, brother. They look like a bouquet of beautiful flowers. All shades, all colors. They're gorgeous and we love them. And we want to be the kind of image and the kind of strength that they can respect, that they can feel comfortable with, that they can relate to. We want to be that kind of image for our women. We want them to be comfortable. They haven't been secure since they've been in America, brother. They've always been afraid that somebody would bust it on that night and just take them and do any damn thing they want to. But that's what they used to do. During the slave trade, brother, it wasn't uncommon for the Caucasian to call 4 or 5 of his homeboys down from the plantation down the street and coming there just kicking the slaves' woman's house inside on the plantation and taking anybody they want, do anything they want to. Well, that was then, this is now. So the thing we want to do now is show leadership and respect to our women so they can be proud of being a part of our heritage. And sisters, you got to help us too now. You know you got to help us. You know you got to make us feel like we work something. Don't talk to the brother like he a dog and tell him he ain't working. I said, you know, help the brother stand up. Talk to us like you talk when you want something. You know how sweet you can be when you want something. How you doing, baby? How you know how to talk to the brother. Make the brother feel like he's a part of the whole thing and not just a part of it, just working himself to death, 5 or 6 jobs, clothes on backwards because he's working himself to death. I'm telling you what I know, boy, because they're killing me. But that's a whole other lecture. So, brothers and sisters, listen, I want to thank you. Really, it's been an honor and a privilege. You've been extremely attentive. And what I'd like to do before I close, so it's important, I'd like to open up for any questions because one-way lecture is good, but for understanding, we need to have conversation. Any questions, brothers and sisters? Anything I said, anything that you wanted me to say? You know what I'm saying? Let's just talk to each other for the last few minutes, because I want to get up and, you know, I want to keep y'all in line. Any questions? Anything? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I went to see Farrakhan, you know, and,
Okay.
I really had a chance to check the Muslim out, you know.
Yes, sir.
And I kind of, you know, I like the way they stood together, you know,
Yes, sir.
as a group of people, you know. And I just want to ask you, like, what do those rankings mean? Like, you know, captains and lieutenants?
Okay, well, what that is, brother, under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who actually organized and orchestrated Islam,
he felt that it was important that the nation had a military. And like in any military, you have rank. Captain, lieutenant, squad leaders. And the purpose for that is really to expedite and make sure things are done in an organized manner. Example, Allah blessed us while the messenger was alive to bring into this country 5 million tons of fish that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad purchased from the Peruvian government in '73. Ain't nobody else ever tried to even think about it. This brother was bad. I mean good bad. He was bad. You know what I'm saying? But the FOI, or the military part, the captain and the lieutenants, were the ones that was responsible for making sure that all of that fish throughout the country got to the neighborhoods. So they play a very important part, and also the military is important to make sure that our women are respected and protected, as the women of other nationalities are respected and protected. We want to make sure that everybody treats us right. So sometimes you have laws, but then the laws only is as strong as the enforcement. If you have somebody there to make sure that the laws are enforced, then you got some Jews. But as I mentioned, sir, it's just a part of the military. But more emphasis is being put on individual leadership. And this is the subject that I was really trying to get across, because an organized body of people is very important and it's good for certain things. But then if for whatever reason you find yourself away from the organization, you become the organization. So if the individual has leadership, then the organization is still alive. So that's the most important thing, is to build the individual, because the individuals make the organization. Yes, sir.
The positive vision, and going toward that and moving toward that on a day-to-day basis. Do you feel disappointment and sometimes feel that maybe you're not conveying the message, and and then the disillusionment of like your brothers really like not even being open to that, and how do you deal with that disappointment?
Very good point, bro. That's excellent. All the time, brother. All the time. But man, it's like the boys say, I can't tell you not to if you got to. We ain't got no choice, brother. I've learned over the years to deal with every situation and make it positive. Ain't no such thing as I can't, I got to. So if I run into a situation where I feel like I'm not coming across, I back off. Try again tomorrow. Or I talk to the individual and find out the best way to come across. Because I realize that I can't make changes in the world. I'm too insignificant. But if I can work with my neighbor, my brother, we can begin to work together. Then I'm beginning to link up the chain that's necessary to pull more brothers and sisters and human beings together for the common good. Did that answer the question, sir?
And
Go ahead.
There's one more.
Certainly, take your time.
I know there's like since I came to LA, I spent some time in jail.
Okay.
And then I see how we blame the white man to the point that we're so angry, that the anger is so negative and it holds us back so much, we can't move forward because we're so tied up with this anger, and this animosity. When does the blame end and the responsibility and the progression begin?
Good point. There should be no blame. That's excellent, brother. There should be no blame. There should only be an explanation as to what happened in a given situation. And then after that explanation is clear, then it's time for movement. If they tell me, say, look, Brother Shaw, right here on this ground, your father built a house from the ground up and the white man took it. That only tells me that he ain't gonna take mine. But I'm going to work. I'm gonna make sure my taxes is paid. I'm gonna make sure that my deed is recorded, or whatever I got to do to keep it, I'm gonna do it. So the only point of information is just to inform us of what's happening. Then it's time for the moment after we hear it, it's time to get busy and go to work. Very good point, bro. Very good point. Beautiful. Come on, brother, sister. That's good. Yes, ma'am.
You spoke of fear being an emotion.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I got a better perspective of it.
Okay.
The way you produced it, and now it's giving me ideas on how to deal with mine. I have a lot of fears.
That's a blessing, sister. We all do. We all do. That's a blessing, sister. That's what the whole thing is about, man. If for God Almighty, Allah blesses me, man, just to say one thing that may trigger something in your mind to help you solve a problem, and that's what it's all about. Here, man, look, if we go and pay a psychiatrist $2 million that we ain't never seen for solving our problems, and all he was listening to us talk about what's up. He listening to you solve your own problem and you pay. Boy, that's strong. Talking about Murphy, now you see it, now you don't. Keep your eye on the red car because it's moving. Moving. Right by you, yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd like to know, Louis Farrakhan, as far as the Nation of Islam, how long has he been one of the leaders of the Nation of Islam? And before that, Elijah Muhammad, was he his understudy before that prior? Because it's like all of a sudden I just heard of Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir. Okay, Donald Elijah Muhammad initially was the founder of the Nation of Islam. You're correct. And his first strong convert was Malcolm. They met inside an institution on the East Coast, and Malcolm was converted. Minister Farrakhan came to New York in the early 50s as a student minister for Malcolm from Boston. And from that point, New York being what it is, and as big as it is, and as much action as it is, took on a whole different face. And as Malcolm became strong, so did Minister Louis Farrakhan. So when Malcolm left the nation in the early 60s, Minister Farrakhan took over Mosque number 7. So he became the voice for New York. And you know, when you a voice in New York, I mean, you right there with the World Trade Center, the stock market, and every brother and sister on the planet Earth, and all of them, and the whole get-up. So that automatically put him in the forefront. Now, at the death of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in 1975, the nation took on a different face. Okay, Imam Warith Deen Muhammad, Wallace D. Muhammad, is Elijah Muhammad's son. Okay, Imam Muhammad actually was commissioned by his father to take the leadership of the Nation of Islam and teach. I was blessed. I was the captain many years ago, but I was blessed to be at the home of the messenger. Prior to his dying, a tape was brought to his table. Minister Farrakhan was there. Several other top officials from around the country were there. I was on post. I was the captain. I was there. And the messenger heard that tape. And the tape that he heard was what Imam W.D. Muhammad is teaching now. And he said, the messenger said that my son can take that teaching and go anywhere. So it was all understood that when the messenger died, that Wallace D. would take over the Nation of Islam. When he took over, he saw the need to make a multitude of changes. Well, he was in charge, you know what I'm saying? It was his job to do it when he saw fit. A lot of people didn't live good with the changes. We had a lot of problems in terms of being able to understand why so many changes so quick. So during that period of time, Minister Farrakhan became very quiet because there were some other problems he was having on another level. So the Nation of Islam, so to speak, died out, and the world community of Islam was being advocated by Warith Deen Muhammad. About 3 or 4 years from that point, about 79, maybe 78, Minister Farrakhan and some other brothers saw a need to regenerate the Nation of Islam. And that's what it is today. So at that point, he actually became the focal point in that rejuvenation of what we left behind. But what he was really trying to do, and I commend him for it, was to maintain our social objectives, which is to do for yourself. Unite to make our neighborhoods a safe and a decent place to live. Respect yourself, respect your woman, get an education, get a job, don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat, don't do none of that. Be morally clean. Well, this is what the messenger taught. And Minister Farrakhan is attempting to keep that alive. And I commend him for that. The religious aspect, the Nation of Islam and the world community of Islam is leading more toward Orthodox Islam because it's from our holy book, the Quran. And that book is the book of all the Muslims. So that too is a little complex. I hope that answered it, brother, for you. Yes, ma'am. Islam, dear love. This is my sister right here, boy. I've been knowing this girl since she was 5 years old. Go ahead.
Naim.
Yes, ma'am.
You said Okay. Oh yeah. She had asked me when you said Allah Akbar. She wants to know what that means.
That's a good point.
Yes,
ma'am. The word Allah means God. Okay, we use that word because it means all in all. And Akbar means the greatest. So we say that God is the greatest when we say Allahu Akbar. And that's an Arabic term for the word God and great. Yes, sir.
I want to know, do anyone go out in the community, what I mean by anybody like yourself, go out into the community and explain the breakdown of the bondage that we're in for as drugs is concerned?
That's a good point. Yes, sir. There are brothers right now from both the masjids and the temples. In fact, I was blessed to be with my brother and Brother Bilal. Y'all know Brother Bilal? Brother Bilal went over to the People Who Care Community Center, fired up, man, a couple hundred of them youngsters. I mean, he fired up, talking about drugs, how they affect the community, how they affect your brain, and how you can get about that trap. So, yes, sir. In fact, we were invited, man, by 4 other organizations to speak to about another 500 youngsters. So we want to get busy, man. The 90s are serious about trying to make changes, man, for the better for our community, especially our children. Any more questions? Take your time. Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to ask you, I went to see Farrakhan speak too, and he was very powerful, to me. I like to hear him speak.
Yes, ma'am.
And what I wanted to ask you, when you follow Farrakhan, do you necessarily have to be a Muslim?
That's a very good point. No, you don't, because you can read the paper and you can subscribe to the tapes and understand the teachings. But then it becomes like anything else we do, my sister. Once we get into a thing and see exactly what it is, we tend to want to go all the way. So I would suggest initially is pick up some tapes, pick up a paper. Also, while you're picking up a paper, pick up what we call a AM journal. That's a Muslim journal, because it also gives you additional information about the number of Muslims the world over. See, the Nation of Islam is a term that I personally don't use that often because it limits and makes the scope look very small, when the Muslim community represents over 1 billion people. There are 1 billion Muslims the world over. So we generally try to address ourselves just as Muslims. Minister Farrakhan, as I mentioned, is doing a great job in terms of social reformation and bringing our people to a level of awareness. But then, once you become aware, you always want to have God in your life. You see, you want to have God in your life for this reason. When you ain't got nobody and you ain't got nothing, boy, God will not abandon you. I mean, all you got to do is call him and he's going to be there. Regardless, whatever you call him, Jehovah, Jesus, whatever, he's going to be there. And that element in a human being's life is positive. Now, as we get more knowledge of the real presence of God, then we address that when it happens. But initially, keep God in your life. And that's another reason why we want to expand on Islam. Maybe this will have one more then over here. Yes, sir.
I want to know if you speak at different places. Like,
yes, ma'am. Yeah, like I said, I speak up at, in fact, I was up in Lampard a couple of weeks ago. It was beautiful. I had a chance to talk with the brothers and try to encourage them to take this time to prepare, get a job, to get out here, boy, it won't be tripping because it's hard. And I also spoke at a couple of the high schools at Dorsey, and I'm trying to get over the lot and brothers and brothers. You got a sister brother than you. Yes, ma'am. Somebody in the back, check it out. Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to know, how do you suggest to people finding out what part to play in the community and how to go about contributing
Well, that's a
to
beautiful.
the community,
Go ahead.
and at what point?
Go ahead. Let's just talk. War talk. I want to get this. Yeah. Ooh, that's tough. Okay. Sister, first of all, what I would suggest is that you really take a look at your personal strengths yourself. You take a look at yourself and you find that area that you feel comfortable in. If you feel good in one-on-one hookup, if you feel good in public hookup, whatever area you feel good in representation, because you got to represent, you got to talk, but it depends on how you want to talk. Then you want to be able to find out if it's okay with your counselors to be able to interact
At what point are you able to interact with the students at the school? Because that's who needs your help. The students at the school. You want to be able to either talk to them in a seminar style, you sit down in a group session and you rap with them about drugs for real, what it can do, and how you can avoid it, and if you don't, what's going to happen. Or you want to be able to talk with community organizations. It depends on what atmosphere you feel comfortable in. Are you with me? So I would suggest, my sister, that you identify your strengths. And if you don't feel like you're ready at this point, just start getting ready. Because you're ready, I'm telling you. By just what you just said, I know you're ready. I'm telling you, you're ready to deal right now. You just got to make sure that it's cool with your counselors. It's not my house. It's in my house, so I don't know. Yes, sir.
What inspired you to join the Muslims?
Good point, brother.
And how did you feel when they chose you to speak?
With tonight or years ago?
The first time.
Oh, okay. Brother, I was what? I think I was 18, 19 years old, brother, in Liso Village, boy, loaded off them stumblers sideways, brother, fighting everything, fighting streetcars, also in the same, I mean, I needed serious help, psychiatric help, everything. And I never will forget, man, I was on the bus, and it was this sister, I never will forget, but I'm glad you asked me. There was a sister, and I mean, her name escapes me, but her face never will. I got on the bus, loading off them stumps. Now, I mean, I'm just stepping all over people, right? So, you know, brother, we'll be a brother when he in his cell. I see the sister, I say, hey, what's up, brother? You know, and the sister say, brother, you really more than that. You need to come to your senses. I mean, she didn't blink. And I mean, I was so shocked because her response was so direct and so right on. And well, I said, hey, maybe I do need to look up and see what's up. Sister said, look, I want you to be my guest at Muhammad's temple. And that was in '62. And from there, the rest is history, bro. And then when I stand up the first time, bro, I was nervous, bro. I was scared to death, man. I mean, knees were shaking, you know. But the brother told me, he said, look, he said, don't talk to everybody, just talk to one individual. Look find one person that you feel comfortable with and just talk to them. And then as you begin to talk to them, just look around, you see everybody ain't mad at you. They don't even know you, brother. You all right. Just talk, and they'll listen if you say something. Yes, sir.
Say you're interested in joining the Muslim.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Give me some of the floor, man.
Okay, actually, brother, once you go to the masjid, they have a system what they call Shah, and that is merely a pronunciation of saying that you believe. Once you listen to the imam or the minister speak, and if you agree with what he's saying, then the person who agrees take what we call shahada. And that's just merely saying that I believe what you're saying is to be the truth, I accept it, and would like to have more information. And from that point, you're Muslim. Because see, the messenger taught us that we were all born Muslim. Muslim means one who submits to the will of God. So we all submit to the will of God, willingly or unwillingly. We ain't got no choice. So we're born Muslim. We catch your brothers to be right there. Yes, ma'am. Oh, sorry. Did that answer your question, brother? Okay. Yes, sir.
As I look and as I see what's going on in our neighborhoods, yes, I see it's been perpetrated by the Koreans and the Chinese and the Japanese taking money out of the neighborhood with the local stores, buying all local stores, taking everything out. And also I see like, I don't understand why we don't have our own paper. I mean, daily paper. And this is where you get contact where you actually can tell people where to go to buy things that's black owned, you know.
Yeah,
but, you know, it's like the Spanish can come over here and have the opinion paper.
Yeah.
You know, why can't we unite the Wave and the Sentinel?
Yes,
be a daily paper.
Yes, sir.
You know, instead of fighting for a little competition.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's what's killing us.
You're right. And see, the point that he's making is so important because that is the truth. That's what's destroying us as a community. There's no trust. We cannot work together. What we got to find out is why. We got to find out why we can't work together and address that question. Who put us against each other and why can't we work together? Is it a history? Is it a teaching? Is it a philosophy that black is supposed to hate each other? How come everybody else can hook up and we can't? That's serious, brother. I mean, that's very, very profound. And at another time, well, I'm going to deal with that. We're going to talk about that's a whole story. That's 2 hours. I'm going to deal with that. Excuse me for getting loud, but I can't help it.
All right, man.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Did your question was answered, beloved? You see your jail, or was it answered?
Yeah, just about, because
Okay.
when we went to see Farrakhan,
Okay.
at the end, he had people saying that, I believe you know, and then he said, if you say that, then you're a Muslim.
Right, exactly.
And you know, I was wondering, you know.
Exactly.
So what do you do from that point?
Okay, from that point you need to go to the temple or go to the masjid so you can begin to receive information on the do's and the don'ts. You know, the whole philosophy and how it works. Yes, ma'am.
What is the difference between Muslim and Baptist?
Okay, actually, beloved, it's nothing but name. Because Muslim means just a name. Pardon me?
I said because everybody has their own beliefs.
Yeah, I mean, okay, now, from a religious standpoint, there may be some differences, but in reality, there's not. Because the Baptists believe in God and the Muslims believe in God. And we all basically believe the same. The only probably major difference might be because the Christian religion as a whole tends to put the Son of God, which is Jesus, a prophet of God, in some cases more important than God. They make more reference to his Son than to him. But we believe that Jesus was a righteous man, but we prefer to pray to the one that Jesus prayed to, and that's God. And that's really one of the major differences. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Because in the Holy Bible, God's name is in there Muslim.
Okay.
You know, and that's why I was asking.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now let me say this, brother. Let me caution you. Now, I'm a soldier. I'm not a scholar. See, I'm a soldier. You want to ask me about some tactics, some battles, some trenches, somewhere I want to get out, I can handle it. But now you want to talk about the real technical, scholarly, religious part, I got to get to you, man. That just ain't my hook. I mean, it's not. I mean, I can understand. I can tell you what I know, but then I don't want to get in depth and detail because I'm really not qualified. Honestly, brothers and sisters. And I want to give you the best answer that you deserve, and I want to give you the benefit of the proper knowledge. And I'm not really versed in all of the religious aspects of Islam, really. But yes, sir. Brother, gonna take a chance anyway. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
I want to clear the air.
All right. I want to know, what is the difference between the temple and the synagogue?
Okay, well, hey, but I don't know, man. Okay, I know the synagogue is where the Jews is at, right. The temple is where the Muslims is at. Right. They don't be together. I told you I didn't know that serious business. Yes, sir.
No,
did I answer my brother? Yes. Not really. I know, but look here, but Brother Shah,
I did want to say this. Okay?
Go ahead.
We are going to, we're in the process of trying to get an imam.
Right. In fact, we have one coming, Brother Sadiq.
Okay.
We got Brother Sadiq. He's coming.
Come here and
answer all those questions.
You know, teach Islam. We've had it in the past, and I'm hopeful that the interest level will be that high when we get to the meeting place. It'll probably be on Saturdays.
Okay. Yes, sir.
We're going to have Islamic services here, and then you can address those questions to someone who is actually trained in that particular area. Not that Brother Shah has been filling the questions real good, but you really need to
stop sliding down.
You know, I mean, man, religious leaders, just like somebody putting a lot of questions about Christianity to someone who goes to church. And, you know, they may be able to deal with some of it, but the person who's actually been trained and spent a number of years doing a lot of reading and research in that area is the person who's really, you know.
How much time we got, Brother Shah? Am I overdue?
I would like to ask you one thing.
We catch the brother, I'll be right with you. Yes, sir. That's why you make it hard on me. I know about brother. Yes, sir.